When we're trying to build a habit, there's a lot of effort that we have to put out, consistent effort. I don't want to joke with you about that because it's true. To get the ball rolling is a lot harder to do than to keep a ball rolling. There is some momentum that has to be built up, and that initially is hard. However, over time with consistency, as you lean into this, as you start to show up, as you know the actions to take and you take them, what you'll notice is that it gets easier and easier. Welcome back to She Rises and welcome to 2026. We are in a brand new year. This is a year of intention, possibility, so many new beginnings, so many powerful endings, so much transformation is coming at you this year. And so I'm Krista Vieira. I'm very excited to be chatting with you today. And today I actually want to talk to you a lot about the nervous system. And I want to talk to you also about the science of manifestation, because these are two things that come up again and again with my coaching clients and come up again and again in conversation, just regular general conversation with everybody. And there's a reason why it keeps coming up. And so I just really want to share a little bit about this with you today, because I feel like this beginning of the year and moving into a really powerful era and a powerful space of owning who it is that you are choosing to become for each of us, just really tapping into that authenticity. And at the same time, really looking with that projection and seeing, where is it that I want to go? What is it that I want to create this year? And who am I becoming in the process? So the old way of looking at this is that when we start to look at the future and we see where it is that we want to go, we can sometimes feel this pressure, or we can feel that, that's a really far away goal that we have. We look, right now, January, right at the beginning of the year, and we look to the end of the year, December 31st of whichever year is coming up, and there's this huge gap. And sometimes we might even question, what am I actually capable of achieving and accomplishing within that time span? Who is it that I think I am, that I can actually do these goals, these dreams that I have for myself? And because sometimes this is coming with a lot of pressure, we actually can shut down. We can say, I don't even want to set goals. I don't want to project. I don't want to create an idea or a vision for myself because I don't know if I'm able to achieve it. And so in lieu of actually putting something out there into the universe, something that feels aligned for us, something that we would love to create, that we would love to see come into being, we put nothing out there because we're afraid of failure. We're afraid of what it is that might happen, if we were to put that imposition upon ourselves, if it was imposed upon ourselves to live into that, become that, achieve that, what if we fail? And so we don't even try. And so I want to bypass that for you this year from a place of integrity, from a place of saying, what if we were to actually access manifestation and realize what it is that we're doing? And with that understanding, then craft the identity of who it is that we're becoming. So let's come into the nervous system for a second here, because this is one of the least talked about yet most powerful things to understand with anything that's happening in our lives, is that our nervous system, we're all basically walking nervous systems. And our nervous system is largely governed on what its reference point is to the things that have happened to us in the past. It's using that as a baseline for what's happening to us right now. And so it is very conditioned. It's conditioned to experience life in a certain way. And the identity that you have right now, the habits that you have right now, the behaviors that you live into right now, all of these are very much, even the ones that don't align for you, that the ones that you might want to transform, even the ones that you might want to shift. The nervous system has built these into an identity that feels safe. And so even when it's not aligned, this is our comfort zone. This is what feels, this feels agreeable, even if we're not achieving our dreams or starting to see things shift and move in our lives in ways that we would love. It is something that we've lived into every day. Our nervous system is used to it. And so it is a safe place for us to be. It can become crowded. It can become claustrophobic because there's a part of us that wants to grow. There is a part of you that knows you're capable of more, that is curious about the universe and curious about who it is that you're becoming and curious about what it is that you are capable of. But that part of you is on the other side of the comfort zone barrier. It's on the opposite side. And so in order for you to get there, we have to address the edge of the comfort zone. Right now, the nervous system, 95% of what you do is just within that range. And the nervous system, whenever anything comes in from the outside that challenges it, and by this I mean challenges the identity that you're currently holding, the beliefs that you have about yourself, the preconceptions that you hold about your potential, who it is that you are, what it is that you're capable of, how you show up every day. There are things that you will say, I'm like this, or I've always done that. And that's showing basically where the nervous system is at in terms of its comfort level right now. When we start to press against the edge of that, and we start to expand beyond the edge of that, the nervous system's alarm bells go off. And it will say, you know what, that's not comfortable. In fact, I don't know what's on the other side of that. It doesn't actually know that what you are doing or what you are leaning into when you get to the edge of your comfort zone, it doesn't know that it's an invitation and an opportunity to grow, that it's something that's going to be good for you, that it's something that's going to expand you, that it's something that your heart and soul deeply desire. It doesn't know that. All that it can perceive in this moment is a threat. And it's perceiving that threat the same way that it would perceive a bear running at it from the forest. So it's like you being chased by a bear. And the reality is you're not being chased by a bear. You're given an opportunity to grow. You're given an opportunity to expand. You're given an opportunity to start to realize your potential, to start to bring dreams into being, to start to see the life that you would love to live start to come into fruition. But the reality is that your nervous system doesn't know how to tell the difference. It just feels threat. The edge of the comfort zone equals threat. It doesn't matter to it what's on the other side of it. So what does it do? It pushes you into the sympathetic part of your nervous system, which is the fight or flight, freeze, fawn aspect of the nervous system. Your pulse starts to increase. Your heart starts to speed up. Your breathing gets really labored and you start to feel sweaty, and all of these things start happening as if you're being chased by a bear. What we want to do here is demystify this process. And when you understand that the nervous system is just responding to a perceived threat, and we have to understand also that the nervous system, when it's responding to this perceived threat, we have to understand, who is it a threat to? So the threat is to the identity of who you are up until now. That person is not going to survive the transition to the other side of the comfort zone. It simply can't, because you on the other side of fear, you on the other side of this invisible barrier that you've been living your life behind, you're a different person on the other side of that. You're not the same. And so instinctively, the nervous system is picking up on this, is that the threat is real because you don't make it to the other side. There is a part of you that's going to grow, evolve, get activated. It's like a sub-program in your operating system is going to be woken up as you traverse from here to the other side. When you start to say yes to the invitations that come up, when you start to ask yourself who you really are, as you start to navigate these challenges, not from a place of preconditioning, the patterns, behaviors, thoughts, mindsets that have served you and served safety in you up until now. But when those start to transform to serve another version of you, a higher level of awareness within you, then the old version of you has to be shed the same way that a snake sheds its skin. Once it's served its purpose, it has to transform. And so you are in the process of transformation. You are in the process of becoming someone that you have not been up until now, but the seed has always been inside of you. This realization of that is what is calling you forward. It's something that's pulling you into a new way of being. And in order to do that, the comfort zone has to be transcended. And in order to do that, the preconditioning has to be transcended. And we have to move beyond that. So understanding that the process is going to cause the nervous system to go into threat mode. The nervous system is going to get triggered when we start to reach the edges of our comfort zone. As we break through faith and trust, and we start to say, I know that this is the process. I know that this is how it works. I know that if I stay the course and stay consistent and keep my eyes focused on the goal and act as if it's already come into being, I am going to call in the resources, the people, the circumstances, the ideas, the alignment that I feel in my heart, that I know is pulling me forward. I'm going to start to call all that in. And I'm going to be able to move beyond the comfort zone barrier into freedom. So the comfort zone, if you want to name the edge of it, you could name the edge of it fear. Bob Proctor called it the terror barrier. And beyond that barrier of terror is freedom, is understanding, because on the other side, everything makes sense. Over here, when we're in the comfort zone and we've got an idea, something that we want to activate, something that we want to really bring into being, and the fear starts to come up, the doubt starts to come up, that is paradigm, that is our set of beliefs that we have up until now that just doesn't know how to do that. It doesn't know who we are on the other side of that. But as we start to trust, that understanding helps to carry us from where we are right now to the other side. It helps us to navigate this very ephemeral barrier, this invisible barrier from where we are right now to where we're going. So why does this matter? Because right now, when we start to look at the year ahead, when we start to look at where it is that we want to go, the truth is that everything that you could ever need or want, everything that you can imagine is actually already existing. We live in an infinite universe, completely infinite, and it's ever expanding. And this universe has everything that you've wanted sitting in superposition, waiting to be accessed by you through your intention, your consistent action, and you showing up knowing who and what you are. And so when you look at the end of this year, when you go to December 31st, 2026, and you think of the person that you are going to become this year, and you sit in that energy and you sit in that frequency, and you just take a moment to really soak that in. There's an invitation for you to feel the energy and the vibration of that being, to feel the energy of someone who has solved those problems that you currently have in front of you. That person has solved them. That person has transcended the limitations you currently perceive about yourself. That person has gone and overcome the obstacles that are sitting in front of you. And to take this into even a lighter framework, that person has realized opportunities, has said yes to things without second guessing. That person has basically come to the fruition of the dreams and goals that you have. Just hold that person in your heart for a moment. Imagine that you really are that person, that version of you. Feel that person inside of you, the seed of which is already there. Now, what would that person tell you to believe right now? What would that person tell you to do in terms of an action today? What habits does that person embody? What do they do every day that help them to show up in that frequency? What is the identity of that person? What is the state of that person's nervous system? What is their belief in themselves? What is the quality of that? And as you start to go in and really feel into the beingness of this person, you realize you have the answers. You have it all inside of you, and it's always been there. This is you activating it. This is you awakening it. And if you are interested in activating and awakening this year even further, I want to invite you to join my masterclass on January 13th. It's a free masterclass. I'm going to post a link in the YouTube and in the comments of this video so that you can access that. And it's a 1.5 hour, 90-minute where we really go into the identification piece and some other pieces that are really important to help you be successful. So why does this matter? Why does it matter? Because at the beginning of the year, when we're flipping a page, and at any point in our life where we're feeling a page turn, where we're feeling something shift, this is an invitation and an opportunity for you to just take a pause and to check in and to say, what energy am I embodying? What frequency am I on right now? And why this matters is because there are low frequencies and there are higher frequencies. And when we are in a higher frequency state, when we are in an aligned state where we feel connected to what we're doing, we feel authentic in who we are, in who we are living into being every single day, what you'll find is that there's this flow that happens in life. When we're trying to build something for the first time, when we're trying to build a habit, there's a lot of effort that we have to put out, consistent effort. I don't want to joke with you about that because it's true. We're going to have to put out a lot of effort originally, and it's going to be hard because we've got to get the ball rolling is a lot harder to do than to keep a ball rolling. So when you are initiating a habit, when you're initiating a phase change in your life, you are becoming someone different than who you have been. There is some momentum that has to be built up. And that initially is hard because you have to show up consistently as the person who does that habit every day, who lives into that identity every day, who thinks as that person thinks every day. And that's a challenge. That is a real challenge. However, over time, with consistency, as you lean into this, as you start to show up, as you know the actions to take and you take them, even on the days and in the moments when you don't feel like it, what you'll notice is that it gets easier and easier. When you're building a new neural pathway in your brain, you're recycling the neural glue from other pathways as you form the new one. There isn't that feedback loop yet. There isn't that reinforced chemical transmission in your brain saying, yes, do this new pattern, do this new behavior, do this new habit. That doesn't exist yet. It has to be formed. It gets formed through consistency. And once you can be consistent in it, you can start to experience more ease, more flow. And so that higher frequency, that alignment I was talking about, when you start to experience yourself as that and you see it in action in yourself, you start to say, where else can I apply this in my life? What other shifts have I been hesitating on making or not making? What other shifts do I just feel would be so beneficial for me to make in my life? From a place of loving myself, not from a place of I'm not good enough, and not from a place of I'm not worthy, not from a place of I should be better than or I need to do better, not from any of those places, but from a simple place of if I am living into this life fully, loving myself, really embodying, like putting my head on the pillow at night and feeling like that was a day well lived, with gratitude for the life that I'm living, what would that feel like? How would I be showing up? What habits does that person have? What's the identity of that person? And we realize that there is a way to integrate all the pieces of ourselves in the process of starting to bring in goals that inspire us and align us, that give us purpose and meaning, because we want to know that our lives have meaning. And one of the things that we can create in our lives as we're leaning into this meaning is this identification with soul purpose, this identification with knowing why we're here and what we're here to do. So for some people, that might be really coming into the heart. For other people, it's really an act of service in the world. There's so many different ways that we do this. It's not necessarily career-based. It goes so much deeper than that, so much deeper on a heart level. And when we really start to experience fulfillment in our life, it's when we start to see that what it is that we're thinking and what it is that we're being and what it is that we're doing, it's all congruent. It's starting to flow in alignment. And even though there are always going to be challenges in life, there's always going to be hard moments, this allows us to flow with life a little bit more easy. It allows us to find a little bit more of a rhythm with life so that we can enjoy and experience and continue to challenge ourselves and grow and believe in our own potential to call in from the universe what it is that we want. So I know in other podcasts I've talked about how manifestation can be seen as woo-woo type of stuff. But when we understand the science that what you're focusing on is what you're starting to call in and attract, and as you focus on it every day, you'll start to bring it in. I'll give you a real-time example of that. It's the beginning of January here, so for some people, they might be focused on a health goal. Now, we can look at a health goal in two ways. We can focus on the goal and say, I have this health goal because I believe that I should be healthier than I am. Right now, I don't like how, I'm just going to say a bunch of things and maybe some of them will hit home or not. These are just arbitrary examples. I don't like how I look. I want to eat better. I feel like I'm poisoning myself with the things I'm putting in my body. It's not, I don't have energy. I'm constantly feeling tired and weak. I think that my routines are off. I don't know what to do about it. I know that things should be different than how they are. You can see how all of those are focused on the current circumstances in a way that does not align with where you want to go. It isn't what you would love, right? But there's another way that we can focus on a health goal. I feel so energized when I take these actions. This food that I'm putting in my body is so nourishing for me. I love the amount of energy that I have when I'm doing these types of behaviors. Sleep is making me feel so good. I wake up feeling rested and ready for my day. I notice that I'm more calm. I have more mental capacity. I'm not as forgetful. See how it's all focused on the positive of like, I'm doing this because it's so positive for me, because I love myself. We're bringing it in a totally different frequency, totally different vibration. So the energy that we do things with matters. The frequency matters. And that's really what I'm getting down to here. So I hope that some part of this landed and resonated with you today. This is really powerful stuff when we're looking forward at where it is that we would love to see our lives go this year. As the creators of our life, as the designers of our life, we get to decide and determine the path that we take, the person we become in the process. It's not arbitrary, it's by design. And this is your key. This is your power, is to say, I'm the creator of my life. I get to design it. This is what I would love. And so here you go. When you're looking at manifestation, focusing on the positive, understanding that the nervous system at first is going to reject or try to protect you from where it is that it sees you going, because it doesn't know who you are on the other side of it. It doesn't know that it's safe. Everything is a bear chasing you through the forest. So this is your invitation to slow down, take a few deep breaths, really pause, really take some time to just be, and to start to understand and follow through that process of, if I want to see certain things shift and change, there's an embodiment. I have to start to show up in a certain frequency. I have to start taking different actions potentially in order to bring that into being, because I need to be a vibrational match to where it is that I want to go. And the more that I become that vibrational match, the more I'm going to start to see that come into my life in a flow state, in a way that's easier, more aligned, more uplifting, and that will help me to trust the process further. But as I'm sure that you know, there's that quote out there that says, I need to see it to believe it. But the truth is that you actually have to believe it first and take the actions consistently, and then you're going to see the results. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And please feel free to like, share, comment, subscribe. And I would love to see you at that masterclass on January 13th if that aligns for you. So have a beautiful, wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you soon.